Do you ever feel drained after dealing with someone? When dealing with some people, are you always wrong, but they're always right? Do they focus on your mistakes while ignoring their own? Well, today I'm going to show you how to deal with all of that in today's topic, which is toxic people. If you like today's video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, and share. Hi, my lovelies. My name is Leigh, and welcome to Personal Development with Leigh, where my goal is to provide you with strategies to help you live a better life. So, as I said in the intro, our topic for today is toxic people. We're going to discuss what they are, how they're identified, and how to deal with them. So let's get started. No matter how old you are, at some point in your life, it's sad to say, but you're going to have to deal with a toxic person or toxic people. In fact, you might even have a toxic person or several toxic people in your life already and not even know it. So the first question is, what exactly are toxic people? So toxic people are people who are difficult to deal with and who are abusive, unsupportive, and emotionally unhealthy. Some examples of other names for toxic people are controlling. Sometimes you may hear people talk about them displaying narcissistic behavior, your spiritual vampires, your drama kings and drama queens, and also your liars. So the next question is, what is the best way to spot a toxic person? Well, the number one way is to pay attention to how you feel whenever you encounter people. Healthy relationships with other people are supposed to lift you up. They're supposed to make you feel good about yourself and make you want to be your best self. But if you feel emotionally drained, exhausted, negative after an encounter, then whoever you were with is probably a toxic person. Some signs of being around a toxic person may include you may walk on eggshells, and you may also find yourself dreading being around them. Even though you're supposed to be connected to them, you may feel emotionally starved, lonely, alone, and in want of a connection. Let's go a little more in depth and take a look at some examples of toxic behavior. The first example of toxic behavior I'd like to bring your attention to is gaslighting. This is a big one. This is when someone does or says something, and when you bring it up, they act as if nothing happened and then try to make you second guess yourself. In extreme cases, gaslighting may even make you question your own sanity. If you've ever seen the movie The Girl on the Train with Emily Blunt, then you've seen gaslighting in action. I've actually had this done to me by someone I initially thought was a friend. They also used another tactic that some toxic people may use, which is also our second example of toxic behavior, which is button pushing. As I'm sure you know, this is where a person knows what to say or do to provoke you and to make you upset. When they succeed, they sit back and act like they didn't do anything at all, like it was all you. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not all on the button pusher. Ultimately, how you choose to feel is your choice, but the less triggers you have, the less you'll be susceptible to button pushing. So, the solution in this case would be to take responsibility for your part by getting rid of as many triggers as possible. I have a video on triggers that will help you to do this. I'll leave a link to it both above and in the description box. But understand me when I say, if someone is continually pushing your buttons on purpose, that is not okay, and you need to evaluate that relationship to see if it's one that you want to keep. In my case, the person actually used to talk about the fact that they pushed other people's buttons, and they even laughed about it like it was okay. They would push my buttons and then gaslight me by acting like they did nothing and like it was all my fault. I take full responsibility for being the one triggered, but I cannot have an argument all by myself. That's one of the reasons why this person is no longer a friend. The person was essentially trying to make me believe that the problem was not the abuse itself, but my reaction to it. Mood swings are another thing that toxic people can display. There is actually a concept called a mean sweet cycle that I have personally experienced. I had a friend that I worked with, and whenever we were at work, she would be the sweetest person there was and act as if she loved me to death. But the minute we were outside of work and it was just me and her, she would act like she couldn't stand me. This went on for a long time because I couldn't understand the point of her acting two different ways. Needless to say, I had to cut this person loose as well. With the mean sweet cycle, you never know where you stand with that person. Number 4 are your boundary violators. With toxic people, you may find yourself trying to set boundaries with them. Even if you just try to discuss their behavior with them, they just turn around and do the same thing that you ask them not to. Toxic people also display inconsistent behavior. The reason for this is to keep you off kilter so you won't really understand what's going on. Number 6 are your takers and your users. They take and take and take. If you're in a one-sided relationship, chances are it's with a toxic person. The 7th example is arrogance. They act like they're better than you. They may even look down on you, and they're very condescending in their interactions with you. A couple of other things they do is the use of projection, which is where they blame you for their faults and refuse to take any responsibility for the things that they've done. And then also guilt and intimidation in order to try to control you. These are just a few examples of toxic behavior, but as with anything, there are many, many more. Being in a toxic relationship is being in a poisonous relationship because it's a very abusive relationship. So you may be asking yourself, why do people stay in abusive relationships for so long? Well, the answer is because you think you can change the person. But at the same time, everyone knows that the only person you truly have control over and you can change is yourself. So the best thing you can do for yourself in this type of situation is to walk away. If you can't do it all at once, you can start by slowly distancing yourself. If you try to leave, you can expect that they'll try to pull you back in by showing you attention again. But you have to try to be strong and turn away from this because of the damage that gets done when you're in an abusive relationship. So the next question is, how do you deal with toxic people? So here are some tips to help you deal with toxic people, especially if you're in a situation where you just can't walk away. Number 1, you want to accept what is. If you just realize that someone in your circle is a toxic person, you have to realize that there is essentially nothing you can do to fix them. Number 2, as we've said previously, you can only change yourself. Okay? Number 3, you have to set boundaries. There must always be consequences for other people's actions. Remember, you teach people how to treat you. And number 4, stand up for yourself. Don't just let anyone walk all over you, whether it's a toxic person or not. Number 5, decide if you want to keep this person in your life. Number 6, keep them at an arm's length. By this, I mean, don't let them all the way into your life and don't tell them all your business. Number 7 is forgiveness. Remember, as I always say, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the other person. So if you decide to distance yourself from a toxic person, forgiveness is what's going to help you to move on. And lastly, seek professional help. You have to realize that all of these behaviors that we've just discussed and others that you've been exposed to are not normal. And so you also have to realize that it's not just the other person, it's you too. I say this with love because if you look at it from a law of attraction standpoint, something in you is attracting these types of people to you. From a psychological standpoint, it is thought that you may have unhealthy needs within you, which are something toxic people are attracted to. All right, my lovelies, thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified about all of the new videos that I post. Also, please don't forget to comment in the comment box and hit the like button if you like the video. And also, please comment to let me know if you have any ideas for videos that you'd like for me to create in the future. As always, my lovelies, I thank you. I love you. Have a fantastic day, and namaste.